Welcome back to Enlightened Trading. I'm your host, Conrad, and today we have another look at the crypto market. So as usual, this is my TradingView page. Go check it out. One of my latest posts actually was about the quadruple resistance coming up on Bitcoin, and this is also my latest video on it. So maybe you saw what happened. Well, we went parabolically on a daily time frame. We broke above resistance, and that is actually also what I'm going to talk about today. So make sure you follow me here, and as well follow me here on Instagram for some fun along the way. So thank you very much for doing so. Also, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below. It helps me out very much, and I also appreciate it. So jumping into price today, we actually are on the 9 sell today on the TD sequential. This is a very important thing in my opinion, a pretty important signal. You can see that in the past here on this line, I'm going to delete these two trend lines because I don't think they will be of importance anymore. So you can see we actually had two 9s coming up as and acting as resistance, basically showing that prices are going to correct in the near-term future. And all the time it happened, it actually corrected. And here also you can see a 9 buy here on the bottom, which signaled a positive price move in the short term, and this happened, as you might know. So we now have again a 9 sell here on the daily time frame, and actually what I do like is that we wicked up and are now back down again. We almost went to 9,100 today, and we had this small 1 hour ascending channel, and I also thought that we most likely would break to the upside, and we did. But and this is also the thing I thought about, we will most likely retrace after it. So we then we moved to the upside, but found resistance here, mostly also around this Fibonacci, but also once again here on the 1 hour 9 sell of the TD sequential. So once again acting very nice here on Bitcoin. As well, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you will see that we also had a 9 here in this topping vicinity and a doji candle afterwards. So that was actually pretty nice exit signal for any bullish long positions. So what are we looking at now? Well, in my opinion, since we have the daily 12th hour, and also we had a 12th hour earlier today, so we had a double 9 actually here on the daily and the 12th hour. I do think we will most likely retrace. And also what is pretty important is that we now actually can draw this trend line very nicely here after all-time high of around 20,000 down, connecting these wicks and also now connecting it with this one. So we now have a pretty nice trend line here on the weekly and daily time frame, acting as resistance. This will be the one thing people will look out for to break, of course, sometime in the next few months, basically. So we will see how this candle on a weekly time frame closes. I do think there's a highly likelihood. Also, you can see this doji candlestick on the 3-day, and on the daily we also had a doji candlestick yesterday, which usually signals that prices are currently overbought and most likely will retrace and correct in the near-term future. So I do think a level of 7,400, even down to 6,400, is pretty likely. Maybe we will even go lower. There are some rumors, or there is a possibility that we once again will touch the 200 weekly moving average here, which is now currently residing at 5,700. So maybe this will happen, but I don't think it's pretty likely currently. I do think that this bounce will find a higher low in the vicinity of 7,000 down to 6,000, or I mean more likely from 8,000 down to 6,000. I know this is a pretty broad range, and we are almost getting into it already, but there are of course some key structural support areas around 7,400, and as well there is still the daily 200 and 100 moving average here, this yellow and white line aligning currently and most likely acting as support, also aligning as I said the quadruple resistance with this trend line I just deleted will possibly act as support. This Fibonacci 0.618 was broken significantly, and so therefore we can look for a retrace down to it. But as I said, I think 8,000 is a bit high. It is still a bit high, and I would like actually a retrace down lower. It's okay if we once again move below the 200 daily moving average. I don't think it's too important, although it is important, of course. But yet, as I said, I do think a correction even lower is likely. But I would give it it's pretty much a 50-50 if we retrace from 8,000 or from lower, from like 7,000 down to 6,000. I do think that is currently the target. So that's that for Bitcoin. And Ethereum also of course shot up into resistance, and maybe this ascending channel still works. Well, it kind of doesn't, in my opinion. I'm not going to look at it actually. Yeah, I don't think it's the thing to do. Yet what I am looking for on Ethereum, of course we are on the 9 today as well here on Ethereum. I'm looking for a break off this trend line here, which is currently residing at like 192. So I do think a break below 190 and as well of course 200 is very likely, and is also very healthy actually for Ethereum. And the price of around 172 is one of the things I would look out for, because there's the daily 200 moving average coming up. Yet I do think if we break even lower, it's not bad as well. Of course, this could happen here on Bitcoin if we move lower and break the 200 daily moving average. Maybe we will wick below like into the vicinity of 7,000, and then sharply retrace here to the upside, which then has the effect that we create a doji candlestick, meaning that we have a wick on the candle to the downside, similar to what happened right here. We have a huge wick going down, and the body of the candle actually closing higher, and then also closing above the 200-day moving average. That would be of course very bullish for the price of Bitcoin. So after rambling on about that, of course this was a pretty major move here on Bitcoin, and I think that's actually pretty important for price in general. I do think also that we can now delete this descending channel, also this horizontal resistance or support, and once again draw the trend line here sloping downwards from the all-time high, and connecting these candles, looking pretty nice here on most time frames. So that is the number one thing in my opinion to look out for. As I said, I do think around 7,000. Also, as you can see, the 300-day moving average acting as resistance, and now maybe even acting as support here around 7,000. Maybe this will be important. As I said, there is some pretty important support from 8,000 down to 7,000 and down to 6,000. I do think it would be wise to average in on this correction. I very much would. I mean, I'm not going to advise. Of course, I'm not going to advise, but I do think it would be wise to average in on this correction. So yeah, I mean, scale in, buy the dip. I do think that's the thing to do currently. So thank you very much for watching today's video and sticking through. If you did like my content, then make sure you subscribe and leave a like down below. As I said, it helps me very much, and I also appreciate it, of course. So that's it, and I see you guys and girls, you people, back next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.